Gas prices across much of central Indiana now up over $5 a gallon. How are you dealing with that? Welcome to your Monday night here on all of our social media platforms. Felicia and Sean and I are going to be joined by friend of the show, Lauren Kostick. We're going to be talking about fixing up Indy roads. All of us know a few roads around town that need to be fixed up. So we're going to talk about the city's plans to move forward on that. Also, we're going to have the adventures of Milo and Murphy. They went for a road trip over the weekend, so we're going to get some home video of that. So a lot to discuss here on your Monday night. Everybody's weekend okay?
It was good. It was restful. Well, you and I had to work Saturday, so that was half of it was restful.
Yeah, that was a pretty fun event. The cancer support community, big gala over at Clues Hall. And Colin Jost was the featured comedian that evening, and they raised a lot of money. So I enjoyed sharing the stage on the Weekend Update guest. That was really fun.
Scott rocked it. He brought all his dad jokes, Sean.
You got
there were a lot of groans in the crowd.
Yeah. That means you got to keep doing it more.
Right. As I said to my wife that night, comedy is hard, news is easy.
Yeah, almost. I don't.
True.
No, that's not my cup of tea, man.
Well, forecasting is your cup of tea, and we've been dealing with some rain and storms.
It's kind of a nice, peaceful rain across the metro area. Anything but peaceful the farther north you travel. Let's show you live Doppler 13 radar. So we're quiet here in terms of storm action. We had some pretty decent storms that pushed through the central part of the state. But this is just what you need for the lawns and the gardens here. Now, too quickly up to the north. Flash flood warning continues for parts of Cass County. They've had some slow moving storms. A couple of those storms earlier this evening were trying to rotate just a little bit, but this is the story right now. Radar rain estimates of over 5 inches across Cass County with those storms. So those will gradually weaken here. Waking up tomorrow morning, we're still going to have some leftover clouds, a little bit of drizzle, a little bit of shower action. And you'll have to wait maybe for several hours, but the afternoon, late afternoon and the evening really should be pleasant. And we'll start out Wednesday on a pleasant note, but I do want you to know that we've got another storm maker coming in on Wednesday afternoon and evening, and those could be local. Well, they'll definitely be locally heavy, but possibly some severe wind gusts out of those as well.
Okay, sounds good. We'll get more out of Sean coming up in a moment, but let's turn our attention to Milo and Murphy's mom. We'll get to more of the dogs in a moment, but we're talking roads tonight, right?
I mean, like you said, we all know a road that needs to be completely ripped out, repaved.
Yeah.
You know, we had all those potholes in the winter. We had a horrible, harsh winter and spring, and you know they repaved a lot of those potholes. But even when you drive on it, it's like you're going up and down in your car, bumping everywhere. So tonight, DPW and the mayor introduced a fiscal ordinance, which is additional money on top of already $25 million budget that was approved last year, and this fiscal ordinance is about $10 million. It would go to the worst roads in every district. So with 25 districts in the county, each council member was able to pick out, hey, this is the worst road in my district. This is the one that needs to be fixed, you know. And they also use data to help with that, but the council members were able to, you know, review that and make sure it's accurate based on all the complaints they have received. So they introduced it to the council, and this will go beyond repairs like potholes. They'll actually, DPW said, rip out the whole road and then replace it with new asphalt, which is needed, I think, in a lot of parts of the city. And if this is approved, which like I said, it was just introduced, it still needs to be voted on, the money will go right away to the vendors immediately. So that work will get started right away. So you could see those improvements, and the goal is to finish these projects by the end of summer. So right now we don't have a list of all the roads, but if you live in a district, you probably know which road it is.
Right.
You know, it's like we all know that those problem roads. And on top of that $10 million, there's also $3 million in the proposal that will go to future residential projects, which have not been announced. So a lot of money, and you know, and that's they said the #1 complaint they get from residents is roads. I mean, we all drive on them. We all know how bad they are. You know, so I think this is an issue across the board, across the aisle. We all can agree on, you know.
Yeah, and this is a common problem that I feel like in a lot of the cities that I've lived in, everyone's complained about. However, here stands out as being particularly bad. So I mean, hopefully this is going to get some help. And you also mentioned the roads beforehand; they were paved back in the winter, but I feel like now it's time to repave them
just need to rip out all
again,
the
or
roads.
just start over.
Yeah, I think the winter was probably more patching.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I've lived
Patching.
here almost 20 years. I live downtown. I mean, again, in my opinion, it's about as worse as it's been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's pretty bad.
there's only so much patching you can do without having to like do
Done.
it all, starting over.
Exactly.
Start
right?
over,
I mean,
friends.
Yeah. So
It's
I
weird
know.
driving north on Delaware. You know, I joke with the kids. I'm like, oh, we've got a nice paved because there's a stretch of Delaware that's
Right.
actually paved now.
Yep.
It's like, oh man, this is nice.
Yeah.
Smooth, yeah.
But hey, we're going to see it in our taxes. We're going to be paying more. I mean,
right.
there's another side to it. So
right.
here we go.
all right. Well, here we go with a couple of dogs that we love here at 10
know.
o'clock. Tell us about Milo and
Well-
Murphy and their road trip.
Yes, well, after last week, I felt bad I didn't have any videos, and I was like, what am I doing as a dog mom? So I've been like taking all these
Nice.
videos
Yeah,
and
good.
keeping them.
Oh.
So this is when we traveled to Michigan for my nephew's birthday. It was a 4.5-hour car ride, and Murphy loves it, Milo doesn't, and this is their Uncle Kaiser. So this is
Nice.
my parents' 140-pound German Shepherd, and Murphy just loves him, which you think they would be kind of scared of him. Milo just plays with the ball, but you can see Murphy and Kaiser in the background there. And then after a while, it goes for pretty much like 5-6 hours. They'll just go nonstop, bark, 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 and then after a while, here you go. They tire
there it
out.
is.
Kaiser's
Yes.
tongue is out, Milo, and then they're back at it again.
Yeah.
So
Kaiser's
they-
like, well, you guys go back to Indiana.
yeah, he actually pouts when they leave. He whines
really?
when we pull out.
Really?
He is a very, very smart dog, and he knows when we say Uncle Kaiser. They all know, and everyone gets sad. We pull out of the driveway, and Kaiser pouts. So,
Wow.
yeah, so we love visiting them, and also when we come back, it's the best because they're so tired.
Yeah.
We get home and they're just go to bed, and I'm like, this is nice.
Yeah.
We drop them off at Grandma and Grandpa's, and so
Well,
we had a great time.
I was going to ask how they meshed together, but clearly it's been all good.
It's been all good, yes.
cute.
Which is just so funny because Kaiser's so big,
Right.
and then Milo and Murphy are so small, but they're all family. So.
Just out of curiosity, ballpark, how much
Yes.
did you spend in gas
Oh my gosh.
from Indiana all the way up to Michigan?
I thought about that too, and I was like, oh, my nephew is very lucky I'm coming home. Well, I stopped at Costco before we left, so that's my
There you
favorite
go.
place.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, if I added up, I think it was 75 one way and then 75 back. I mean, we go through almost a tank to get home in my car, but I hit cruise control a lot when
Yeah.
I was on the highway,
They
So
say
those
that helps.
semis kept getting in my way, and I was like, man, I got to turn off the cruise control. But yeah, it hit my wallet. big
It's
time.
crazy to be driving around and to see 519 and some places 525
Yes.
and north of that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
The good Lord has blessed me. I try not to even look anymore because it hurts. It hurts to look. But I know that's
does.
not the case for a lot of families out there. I mean, they're making hard decisions.
So are there decisions that we're all making in terms of scaling back summer plans or trimming back errands or not going different
You
places?
know, thankfully, I live close to work.
Yeah.
And so and I'm not a car person. I hate cars, by the way, but mine's a hybrid. So I think we're kind of considering, my wife has a longer commute.
Right.
So we're thinking about, you take the hybrid.
Right.
And
Yeah.
since I, live close to work.
Right.
That makes more sense for us.
So you're going to walk and she'll take your car.
Well, we had, or hit the bike.
Hit the bike,
Might as well bike
yeah.
downtown.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Not tomorrow during the storms.
no.
That's a good alternative.
And Lauren, are you?
I was just talking to my boyfriend where we have to, do our groceries, and usually sometimes we go separate, and I was like, no, we need to go together. We need to go to
Right.
Costco. We need to fill up, because it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. Yeah.
It sure is. It's, I think, apparently we're not on Facebook tonight for whatever reason, so we're not getting as many comments
It's
because,
because Mike Orr's off tonight.
oh, is that right? Part of our digital team
I
that
didn't
usually
see
gets
Mike.
us on tonight. But
Our
so we're not
guy.
getting the kinds of comments tonight where we could hear from our viewers. We're on some different platforms, but viewers can't talk to us. But if you are, go ahead and shoot us an email. Let us know how gas prices are affecting you. What are some of the high prices that you've seen in your neighborhood? But on 96th Street in Fishers, it seemed like everybody was over $5 today.
Jeez.
So
Oh, yeah.
So
And even when I drove north to Michigan, it just kept getting higher.
yeah.
Well, if it
So-
makes anyone feel any better, California's talking $7.
Yeah, isn't
That's
this
true.
crazy?
Just trying to get a silver lining here.
Yeah. Well, all right. So Waking up tomorrow, if you got to fill up for gas, what's our weather tomorrow?
Little drizzle, a little cloud cover here. The second half of the day tomorrow will be the better half. Certainly the brighter half.
Yep.
And then we got another system to go before we get to the weekend.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
All right, the rest of us will be with you tonight on 13 News over at 11 o'clock. Thanks so much for joining us here at 10. Good night.